Well, good evening to you all. We've got a very interesting guest this evening. We basically, we've all been investing in property for a long time. We've helped over 2,000 people invest in property internationally. And one of the four fundamental components of investing internationally is the Rand. Now, whether you're investing in South Africa or out of South Africa, you need to understand the Rand. You need to understand where it's going. You need to look at the short, the medium, and the long term. And I think one of the things that's of huge benefit, and it's of huge welcome to have all of you online tonight, but specifically, James, it's wonderful to have you online here as someone who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to the Rand. I mean, from my side, James, just before we get into your kind of expertise, I wanted to just show just a quick 2 or 3 slides in terms of the impact that it has with regards to international investment. Now, some people might have seen this slide before, but I think it's very important. I actually did the analysis as to if you'd bought a property in South Africa or if you'd bought a property in Australia, for as far back as the records would go. Now, the records go back as far as 1978. And if you'd spent the exact same amount of money and you invested in South Africa versus you spent the exact same amount of money and you invested in Australia, do you know that when I did this analysis, so for 32 years through to 2010, you'd be 350% wealthier, so 3.5 times wealthier if you'd invested in Australia. And we both know what's happened. We both had property booms and busts in both South Africa and Australia. But the key difference between the two actually comes down to the exchange rate. And I just wanted to show you this graph because it really gives you the relevance with regards to the importance of understanding the exchange rate. Now, the most important thing I always say to people is that I don't have any idea where the Rand is going tomorrow morning or where it's necessarily going in a couple of months' time. And that's really what we're going to try and learn from James tonight. But the one thing I do believe is that you've got to take long-term trends. Whether it's Donald Trump or Warren Buffett, you read all the research on the wealthiest people in the world, and they always say one of the easiest ways to become wealthy is to follow long-term trends. Now, the point of tonight is to sit and understand from a gentleman that specializes in this what those trends are. And I just wanted to, go back to the whole nature's laws, that whole thing of a bird flying in a flock. 25 birds flying in a flock can fly 70% further than a bird flying on its own. And my attitude with inviting James, and we really, it's a great honor to have him online, and we really appreciate him giving up his time for us. But, why go out and try and learn it all yourself? Why go out and try and study all the graphs? I mean, James, I came across you, I think, in about 2005, and I got your, all the books, and I downloaded all your material. And to be fair, his website, and I'm going to go onto it now in terms of the website, but there's so much information on it. But my attitude in life is that why go and try and learn it all myself? Why not learn from the experts? Why not be an expert in something you do, but go and work with an expert in a field they're an expert in? And some astonishing research before I hand over to you, James, but it's on your website here. And to be fair, as I said, I've been tracking you for many years, and I've been incredibly sort of amazed as to how you get this accuracy. But I mean, on your front page here, since you started, you've got an over 80% accuracy in terms of where the Rand's going. I mean, just could you explain that in a little bit more detail for us novices? And I mean, James, I'm going to hand the screen over to you. I think that'll probably be easiest. But I'm not sure if you cover it in the presentation. But just in case you don't, a question I just wanted to ask was, how did you actually get into this? How did it all come about in terms of you actually understanding this and coming at it from such a scientific level? Okay. Okay, perfect. Well, I've handed the screen over to you. Obviously, just while James is getting the screen up, if anyone's got any questions, please fire them through, and I will, I'll wait for a point where it suits James, and we can actually, go through them. Because obviously, the more interactive this environment, the more helpful it'll be for everyone. Just give it 2 seconds. There. Okay, we got it perfectly. Yep. Okay, so you need to understand. Not really. What is it? Sorry, I don't really understand it now. Okay. Okay. And that's obviously where the interest came in. Just my interest, James, how does that reflect in comparison with inflation, or is that tied basically to labor cost? Okay. So just so that I can understand that, is that, James, are you saying we are basically our productivity is 15% of our trading partners, and in terms of the PPP, we're 40% of our trading partners? Jeez. Yeah. Doesn't paint from where I'm sitting, it doesn't paint a pretty picture, bugger. So that's the right number. That's equilibrium, is it? Jeez. Jeez. So if I buy a house, if I buy a house offshore, then I'm that bottom one, basically. Okay. Just for everyone else's sake, what I said to James, in the short term, if I'm buying Rand, sell, and if I'm selling Rand, buy, because I always seem to get it wrong in the short term. My mother and many other people all panicked when it was 20 Rand to the pound, and she took all her life savings out at 20 Rand to the pound in 2001. You know, so I mean, that's all I was trying to say to you, is that, you know, most people tend to make the wrong judgment call at the wrong time, you know. It's interesting, James. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but more than 80% of people that invest offshore, so that's not just in property, but in shares, etc., actually lose money. And my belief is that it's exactly that. You know, people don't make strategic decisions, they don't plan, and they tend to panic. And there's, you know, in the property game, it's simple. They panic when it goes up or down, and they buy currency on a gut feel, which is always a problem. And then even when they try and buy property, you know, they rush over to London for 2 days, you know, because now suddenly the Rand's devalued and they need to buy a house. And I always say to people, you know, realistically, would you arrive in Joburg and in 2 days find a good investment? You know, it's exactly what you're saying. And that's why unfortunately the odds are so badly stacked against them. And it's why I've endeavored to get someone like yourself to come and explain how we can do better. Yeah, it's fine. I got it clearly. I was in New York, bugger. I literally had I literally had to get out in New York. I had meetings on Monday in New York, And I was very, very lucky. I managed to go to the airport early and get out of New York the day before Sandy arrived. Well, dude, if I didn't, I would have been the 113th person killed by my wife. If I'd stayed in New York for 6 days without an airplane, I would have been dead. Dude, I'm not going to sit here and try and sound intelligent about the stock market. That's Yeah. Don't. 19. Sorry, dude, I'm not the mathematician yet. James, I'm not sure if you are you going to. I'm not sure if you're going to show it in one of your slides, but is there any chance you could kind of just show us quickly one of your recent reports so that we could get some sort of indication based on the science behind what you said as to kind of where we're going? Because we're all sitting here with bated breath, knowing now we understand how it works. Now we want to know where we're going. And what level of certainty would you put us at? You know, let's just say 14 Rand to the dollar in 3 or 4 years is what I'm understanding. What type of level of certainty are you looking at there? 80% certainty. And just in my interest, I don't know if you're going to work backwards there in the next few months, and if you wouldn't mind just going through those quickly as well. So James, tell me if I've got this wrong. So I'm sitting here now, and I literally am. I want to move R1 million over to it doesn't actually matter where, but for argument's sake, it's America that I want to invest in. And obviously, I'm sitting watching this, and one of the reasons that as I said to you, I was trying to analyze the software about a month ago to try and understand this. But from what I can understand from what you're saying is that it might improve over the next couple of weeks, and you don't have a crystal ball, although your crystal ball is better than mine. But still, it might get slightly better. But if I was to take even a 3-month trend, the long-term trend is it's going in one direction. And if I wait, like you said, I'm just going to have more pain, stress, and pressure in the long term. Okay. Okay. No, I think they make a lot of sense. Something that I asked you, not tonight, but in the past, that I think is of value. Please just point out where that price is. So you've got the 6th of November, and then the time, and then the price. No, on your little thing. So it goes next few days, and then it goes date, time, price. Yeah. So I just, because it was something that it's something that I wasn't 100% sure of. So I just wanted to make sure for everyone else. So you need to understand the block. And if you read down the bottom here, it says the market has retracted from the interim high of 879. And I couldn't quite work out what that price was. All that he's trying to say is that that's the price at the moment they did the forecast, if that makes sense. It's not the predicted price. Just, and just something that I think might be interesting for everyone. I don't know if you know, everyone online is probably more intelligent than me, but when I first saw this in green getting better, you know, as a passionate South African, I thought that green getting better would mean the rand was strengthening. But I'm just just to point out, it's obviously just in terms of where it is, basically. Yeah, yeah, no, no, I understand. Yeah. Not just because, as I say, maybe I'm the only one that made that mistake, but I thought it was pointed out for everyone else. Just a quick question here before you go back there quickly. There's a question here from Susan, and Susan said, "What would happen if we took away exchange control with regards to those graphs?" I don't know if it has any relevance or whether you can even answer that, but she just asked what impact exchange control would have on it, or if it does. Like, that makes sense. Look, personally, I don't invest in Europe, but I'm sure there'll be people that have interest in the euro rand analysis. James, sorry to butt in. Another question from Anthony. He said, what will the likely effect of Romney winning versus Obama in the elections tomorrow? No, perfect, perfect. What's in the way? You should just press OK. Or you can see the little orange box. You can if you click on that. It's very interesting at the moment, James, because I've got a lot of, as I said, I'm not going to sit and confess at all in terms of what I think is going to happen to the Rand short term. But I've got a lot of clients sitting on the fence at the moment. And, myself and one of my business partners, Brendan, have been trying to tell people, like, guys, listen, you've got two factors, the two variables that are actually out of your control. One is the Rand, and there's a lot of people sitting on the fence waiting for the Rand to improve, exactly like old Francois. And at the same time, while they're waiting for the Rand to improve, the American property market is recovering fast, and they're actually getting themselves into a double whammy. And if the two trends stay as they are, the difference between making a decision today and waiting 3 or 4 months is like going to be a 20, 25, 30% difference in actual price because the Rand will devalue and the property price will go up. Now, again, I don't predict the future any more so than you do. I'm just trying to show people trends of the challenges of sitting on the fence. And that's why tonight, for me, it was so important, that this is backed up by research. It's not just rubbish, gut feel. Yeah. Listen, I'll put up contact details at the end, and people can contact me, and we can pass it on to them. Do you mind quickly, James, if we do that poll that we spoke about now? Or is that good? So just, I mean, just for James, I chatted to James about it, and I said, listen, James, um, as a property guy, we don't have to watch currency that often. We might be moving, money, certainly not even monthly almost. So I said to him, listen, in terms of the service, would he be prepared to possibly look at a deal that would be slightly different? So maybe it was once a month, maybe it was twice a month, maybe it was 4 times a month, or as he's got it at the moment, which, I've subscribed to it, so I've got access. I can go in every day if I want. And I was just interested as to what people's opinions were. So if you can see there, I've put the poll up. If you can just fill it in, it would be very interesting from our perspective, just to kind of see what everyone thinks. So for those of you that I know that's 8:30 and we've gone on a little bit, and I apologize, but this is just to see if you're still paying attention as well. But no, just give us your feedback as to how often, because it will also give James some indication, and possibly he can do a kind of different package which would allow, just for property investors. I think James said, as an example, maybe you'd have, 1 or 2 or even 4 logins per month that you would be allowed. Um, yeah. So we've had about 60% of people vote. So if you haven't voted, I'm going to give you 10 more seconds, and then we'll do it. Okay. So let's close out this poll, and let's share it quickly with everyone. So interestingly enough, you can probably see that, James, but you've got 33% of people would want it once, and the majority, 67%, would actually access it 4 times, so pretty much once a week. So, yeah, thanks to everyone that took part in that. We should get your screen back. Yep, there we got your screen back. So anyway, just a bit of interest, and to be honest, if you want to give me some feedback, or James as well, let us know. I think from both our sides, neither of our businesses are perfect, so it's always a case of wanting to improve. And I was trying to find out from you guys and from James whether there would be a better way of doing it for property people. No, look, most of them either use the banks or currency brokers. None of us, well, certainly, none of us are experts in kind of day-to-day calling it, and that's, I always say to people, when it comes to property, you're looking at the fundamentals from a long-term perspective. So, you know, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, we don't. Okay. Okay, fantastic. No, James, listen, I mean, from our side, I really want to thank you and thank you very much for, for giving the clients access to this very valuable information. I think, the most important thing is for me, you had two testimonials there. The one guy made 250,000, but I don't actually think that's the one to focus on. I think it's the other guy, Francois, that lost money because, most of us are sitting back and we're kind of trying to make decisions based on gut feel, and we're asking our uncle and auntie, and even in some cases our friend that works in the bank. But, with all due respect, none of it's based on research or science. And, when we're doing property transactions, it's large amounts of money. We're not buying a Coca-Cola overseas. So, just making one right or wrong decision can save or lose a fortune in terms of the investment. And that's why I wanted to share your research with everyone, because even if they, sign up for a year and read the report once in their life, once before they make a decision, I believe it will save them a huge amount of money, but also stress. So do you mind if I just change the screens back quickly from my side, James? Yep. So it's just a very so that was the website basically, James's website. Oh wait, hang on, I need to show my screen. So you should have it now. You've seen the forecast. I mean, this is one that I've been using. I mean, this one was as far back I think in 2008. I've been with James for a long time now, and where the rand was going and what it was doing, and I think it's a lot of people tend to say, oh, it's going up, it's going down, but I think as a long-term investor, whether you look at that trend as I showed you with Australia, and whether it's Australia, England, America, that's not the point. The point is kind of over 32 years, what do you think those trends will be? And that's why this research is so valuable in terms of these target areas and where it's actually ending up. So from my perspective, I think that, that was everything from my side, James. I'm not sure if there was anything else from your side. Those are our contact details. If anyone wants to get hold of me, let us know, and we'll be able to assist you. If you want me to put you in contact with James, I can do that. Send me an email, and we can put you in contact. And really, from my side, James, I really want to thank you. It was an incredible learning experience tonight. For someone who's been so actively involved in currency, not I don't know if you know what I mean, but by helping 2,000 people invest, plus also myself, and a very active investor, I've been very actively involved in currency, and yet it's shameful when I watch you tonight to realize how little I actually know about it. But at least I know how to find your graphs and be able to follow them basically. And hopefully tonight, in the hour and a half you've shared your knowledge and skills, hopefully tonight we can open some other people's eyes and at least give them the benefit of being able to make educated and informed decisions. No, well, fantastic. Well, listen, to everyone who's been online, I am conscious of the time. James and I have taken up a bit of your time tonight, but hopefully it will not only make you lots of money in the future, but certainly give you peace of mind so that you can make those educated, informed decisions. And so from my side, I just wanted to say, James, it's been an honor and a privilege, and I'm sure we'll be doing lots more together, because I love the scientific approach. It takes the gut feel out of it completely. And to everyone else online tonight, it's been really awesome having you here. Thanks to both of you for your time. Awesome. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.